Hello everyone, back in the shop. Got some DJ stuff going on. You're on Instagram with your stuff? He does. Matt Fish, alright. Let's see if I can flip my camera around because we're about to do a little bit of work here. And have a little bit of explaining to do here in a few minutes. So, let me flip the camera on and set it up. Bourbon real quick. Cheers to the first person, and then anyone else that's going to be joining. But I got a little bit of explaining to do. Yes, we got DJ here. It's a little loud and everything. Cheers to everyone. But I haven't been on in quite some time. I haven't been active in any groups. Last year, 2022, was probably one of the most chaotic years I've had in my life and everything. And it just kept getting crazier and crazier towards the end. I got a pair of Rancourts that we're going to be taking apart here live and everything, and just kind of seeing what's going on internally on them. And I got these kind of cheaper boots that we're going to seal because they're leaking and everything. But for those of you who are wondering what happened to me, I disappeared. Unfortunately, it's just been crazy. We had a shop. My father just passed away in September. He had his own shop that I was kind of forced to take over, and it just went crazier and crazier. And so had to take a little time off basically for me and repose and everything. So hopefully everybody kind of understands. I'm still going through the process with the cords of my dad's estate and everything like that. There isn't much there, but I still have to deal with it. So hopefully everyone can hear me and everything. But let me see. Live chat. Got it. Top. I don't know. I can't see the chats. All messages are visible. Okay. I don't know if I can see the live chats. It just keeps telling me learn more. Hey Caleb. Yes. Do you know how to view the live chats or something on YouTube by any chance?
How to do live? So I've only ever streamed on Twitch. I streamed on YouTube way back in the day, like when I was like 13.
Shoot. Can you ask Joe if he's got a secondary phone I can use
Oh, I
to
can.
see?
Oh, is it you at YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll
Chat
just pull
next
up
to
the
it or
chat.
something. But yeah, I just can't see any kind of live chats or anything. I only got a couple of people, but I definitely can't see much for live stream chats.
Yeah. I just joined. So. Oh wait. Hold on. Doesn't look like anyone's.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright. I know it's supposed to show
Like at the bottom. Oh no, it'll pop up on the side like Instagram, I think. So if someone chats, it should.
It's not even showing there. That's the weird part.
Yeah, I'm trying to. The next thing I'm gonna invest in is content creation for a wireless laptop. One of those roads. That will turn inside off.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm live right now, so
Yeah, no,
if you want to bring it over here,
yeah,
some closer tie outs and everything. Alright. So Caleb is coming over here in a second. We're gonna tie up some welts real quick for him. He's
into the earbud. Connect.
Let me pull up the stream so I can monitor it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my earbuds connecting.
No, Caleb just started. Yeah, I just started. Yeah.
Let's see. Try to get the sound to work right.
Yeah, it's better.
It's better.
It's better. You can still hear more of us, but it's muffled because it's trying to deal with cutting up background noise.
Do you hear me pretty good? Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay. All right, we've got a few more people. So I'm tying off welts. That's what I'm doing real quick. You guys all waiting on me? Or? Okay. All right. Those of you just joining us right now, I guess there's not too many people. We're kind of in the middle of the day on a Saturday, so I don't expect too much people, but definitely share if so. If you know somebody that's just sitting around doing nothing. So we got, are these Lokes? Lokes? I can't remember what shoes. Oh, these are the Peel & Company. Peel & Company. Great shoes. No longer made, unfortunately, with the Peel & Companies. They went under some time ago, and now we only get the older pairs in, but they were definitely a good one. So Caleb had helped stitch up the welts on these, and now it's time for me to tie it off at the very end.
A lot of people do acquire the skill of tying it off.
Yeah. Oh, but I'll show you guys what they look like here in a second once I got that welt tied off.
I didn't mess up anything either.
Yeah. So, got a new tool belt even had to start using just because got too many tools. Loose threads everywhere. Should have put a trash can next to me at least. But these are some, definitely don't want to show that. Customer info.
Yeah.
Some Peel & Company shoes. Got pretty high up there, at least on camera. It looks like the coloring on there is kind of interesting. But there's, yeah, a little bit, and it's pretty high up there too. But got the new welts on there, Caleb did, and then we got a wood shank in there, and we got to get the nails cleaned up a little bit, fill in the cork, and we can move on to getting the soles taken care of on those. So I'm going to hand these back to you if you're able to put that back on there. Thank you. And then up the thread. Yep. All right. So got some Rancourt boots here that I'm about to be taking apart here in just a few, basically. But I got to get these black cheapo boots kind of sealed back up if you're kind of interested in that. Otherwise, in the meantime, get some anticipation to see what the inner structure of these are like and everything. Give them a little bit of a review, in other words. They're definitely going to be a fun one to take apart. I like Rancourts. These things are awesome, especially for the price point. These things were like $328 from what I saw on their website for this particular model. Definitely cool, but we're going to really tear them apart and see what's going on inside of them. So definitely, if you got somebody that's into boots or getting into boots and are just sitting around doing nothing, make sure you share the live stream with whoever you can so that they know what's going on. But for now, let's get these cheaper ones taken care of. We just threw some new heels on there. Obviously, we didn't do any work on the soles there. But they are leaking in a few spots here, and because they're a synthetic man-made material, there's not much we can do. It looks like somebody's already tried to super glue it and everything like that, and we're going to have to seal that up in the meantime. And then we'll finally be able to take apart the Rancourt. Also, if you notice in the description, it also has Gaziano Girling. We've got a pair of Gaziano Girlings in that are getting Triumph toe plates that we're going to be cutting here in a little bit after the Rancourts are taken apart. So may do a little bit of a long live stream here and have a little bit of whiskey. The welts. Got to help start one more welt. So these don't have a welt on them. Huh? There's some tolling actually, or thinner over on the other table. The aceton's not going to be potent enough. So these are those peeling companies here without the welts, you can see. And so we got to start a welt and then Caleb can continue on. Caleb is left-handed, so there's a particular way I got to start it for him. So left-handed people, meeting more and more of them these days.
Good.
I got no problem with it. It's just, it's so hard for me to try to be left-handed. I tried doing certain things left-handed. And it's like, oh, your scissors were horrible. He's got left-handed scissors that I'm trying with my right hand, and they are just, no.
You know, left-handed people die because tools aren't made from there. You have to go specialty.
So I had to skive this welt and then mark off where I'm going to start the welt so that I can start punching through the welt here. Hopefully I don't stab my finger trying to show you guys, because who knows, I'll get demonetized or something just because I stabbed myself live. I don't know. But for those of you who are just joining, I haven't been on in some time, and if you're wondering, I haven't been on for some time because last year was one crazy year for me. My dad passed away in September, and he had a shop that I had to kind of take over, and we're still going through the whole process. It's a big mess, in other words. Plus, we moved the shop, and just one thing after another. It's been a little chaotic, in other words. So, trying to get back into the flow of things, and hopefully, I'll be able to start getting more content up for all of you to be able to see. But yeah, we got Caleb's going to be trying to do content as well, but life hits sometimes, right?
First of all, you guys, it's 2023, and you change your mindset. You guys have to do more this year, regardless. That is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
I'm working. I just be shooing away.
Do more, achieve more. And I'm starting to shoot away.
All right. Man, I really wish we could have a cigar in here right now.
Oh, that would be so nice.
But that cigar smoke would get into the leather and everything. And
the best smells in the world is whiskey, cigars, and leather.
Yep, pretty much.
I would say, yeah. I agree with that.
And we got all three.
No, but we're not smoking cigars in here. All right, so the first thing with this welt that I got to start, obviously, is measure it out and tie it off real quick, but I'll show you guys in a minute. Because then Caleb's going to take over on these. I've had a handful of peeling companies through here, and they're nice. I like them. So if you find a pair for a good price somewhere online, definitely worth grabbing. But this is what the welt's going to look like for the time being until Caleb comes and grabs them and then continues stitching them here. It's just a regular saddle stitch that I did on here. That's usually how it goes on new welts and everything. These welts did soak in some water to soften it up and everything. So set these aside, and then Caleb will run over here and grab those from me. But hope everyone's been well. Brian, what you wearing? Oh, okay, nice. Tacovas, I love Tacovas. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, nice. All right. So, I got some shoe goo here. I'm not quite an advocate of shoe goo personally. I'm not a fan of it, but it comes in handy a lot of times when you're sealing off stuff, especially. If I can get this one to open. Because these boots here are all man-made, and they got a little bit of damage or seeping in water there, and so we definitely got to seal it off. So because they're man-made, there's limitations on what we can do with it. So we're just gonna apply a nice thin bead, and you got to have acetone or some form of solvent nearby to help smoothen it out a little bit. Oh, great. It's getting right into my cut. That burns. Ooh. This is why cobbler hands would get dirty all the time. Because if I had a glove on, this would just stick all over. So it's not fun. I got my rings. I should take those off too. I don't know. I take them off and I put them on. I take them off and I put them on. Like,
when we're doing landscape mode because it's easier for views of different platforms.
Yeah, well, live stream does that with YouTube all the time. So, yep. Oh,
Like
string over here.
stuff.
All right, I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what this looks like when you try to seal up with shoe glue for waterproofing purposes. And it's just around the perimeter there, so it looks kind of bad right now. But take a little bit of acetone or thinner, put it on your finger, and then you can smooth it out. You take some of it off your finger there. Have a rag nearby, like I have hanging off my my new tool pouch. It's not exactly new. Somebody left it years ago at our shop, and I finally decided to utilize it. So, but so you're going to take some of the shoe glue off. So those of you who are just joining in, these are getting sealed up a little bit around the heel area because they are leaking. And they're a man-made material, so a lot of limitations on those. Oh, Caleb brought back my favorite needle-nose pliers. But I was just showing you guys real quick. Now, the real fun stuff, the Rancourts. You guys want to take apart some Rancourts and see what's going on inside of them? Because if you're just tuning in, I like them. You ever seen Rancourts?
No.
I like them. These things are nice. They're Blake Rapid Stitch design. So the midsole is Blake stitched onto them. And then the outer sole is then just outsole stitched like a Goodyear welted type of boot would be. So definitely a fun boot. Funny part is Rancourt actually just ordered some stuff from us, like just supplies as well. I'm like, what the heck? So, all right. Get them laces out. Now, I know some of you out there that are big into, kind of like the ruggedy boots and more like work style look and everything. These are definitely worth checking out. We've got a few more people that joined. Rancourt. I like these, at least from what I can see so far. I've worked on a few other models. This one's a little bit different, so I'm excited to take this one apart. We're going to start with getting the top lifts off and then the heels. All right. So for those of you who are wondering, this is what we call a top lift. That black layer there, it's not the whole heel because the rest of the heel is the base. But there are some people that still confuse when we say top lift. It's just this rubber pad. When we're replacing heels, it's usually just that top lift there. Now, we'll actually take off the heel base, which in this case on these Rancourts is leather, which is nice. A little bit crispy too. They tricked me. It's leather and a fiberboard on these. That first layer, I saw it was leather and I anticipated it all being leather, but it turns out part of it is fiberboard. Okay. I'm going to have to replace those heel bases anyways because look at that. Fiberboard. Fiberboard is not terrible, but it's not that great either. It's better than plastic. We get our fair share of boots and shoes that have plastic heel bases. Clip off some of these nails. Oh God, you guys are going to be really mad at me right now because I got stuff on the floor here. I'm going to have to sweep up after myself here. At least it's in a general area, not the whole area. All right. Put a little bit of solvent to deactivate the adhesives. This is just some acetone here. I'm not used to working at this table, honestly. It's a little different working up front here. I'm used to being in the back. I could be messy and it spills everywhere. And I'm talking about the table here. My table is like glue and everything. So, all right. This is a rip knife here. We're going to put this in between the sole and the midsole. Now, the midsole in these Rancourts is Blake stitched on, so we are just separating the sole from the midsole. We do the same thing with Goodyear welted shoes and boots as well. We're just going to stick this in between the sole, and I'll let you see that here in just a second what it looks like once I got it in position. That way everyone can see it a little bit better. See how that knife goes right in between. Goodyear welted boots and shoes as well. We do the same thing. We put the knife in between. After we get a little bit of solvent in there, helps deactivate the adhesives, and then we can slice through those stitches there that you see up top and up bottom. So we're slicing through them. All right. These are a little bit tougher to cut through because of the way they're designed. Right. Hopefully everyone's been doing well. I'm not seeing any kind of comments or anything yet, but it's been kind of chaotic lately and everything, and been all over the place. I have to split this a little bit. There's not enough room to get that knife in between. Now with a rip knife like this, we're trying to push away from us, but every now and then I have a habit of pulling towards myself. Every now and then that knife will slip and it almost gets in the stomach, which happens. We have a cobbler group that we have that we talk on all the time, all the cobblers. Hopefully everyone can hear me because I got my earbud in and I'm hoping the sound is okay. But unfortunately, my normal OBS system that I connect where I have my GoPro, it's I can't find everything after I move all the components and parts that I need for it. So, now this combination style sole here that these Rancourts have do make it a little bit more challenging because they're a little bit thicker at the ball of the foot because you got the leather sole and you've got the rubber half sole too, and they're all stitched as well. So Brian brought more beer. I'm sorry, it's Brian, right? Yeah. So, okay, I'm like, I gotta make sure I have your name right because I'm like, yeah, I'm like the worst at names, and I'm like, everything in my head's screaming Brian. I'm like, I hope I got that right and didn't screw it up. All right. Yeah. See, that's me pulling the knife towards myself right now. Kind of have to get our trusty heel pry. This is actually a multi-tool for cobblers. You can see a little bit of a curve there. It's a blunt tip like a flat screwdriver. This is a multi-tool for us. I had somebody once tell me a multi-tool is not a good tool. It has to have one very good function. No, not with this case, because this thing works for a number of things for us. And yes, I'll do a cash or trash episode. I'll do a cash or trash episode on these Rancourts. I want to take one of them apart live for you. So definitely you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed and have a notification bell icon on for when I do the cash or trash episode on these Rancourts. But I want to take them apart live for everyone to see, kind of like a sneak peek preview, basically, of what they're looking like. All the different layers and everything. So, oh, nice. All right. So, when you grab these boots and take a look at them, the Rancourts, you're going to notice that these look like they're 270-degree welds, meaning that the stitches that you see through the sole only start here, go all the way around, and then they stop right there. They don't actually go around the back edge of the heel, and that's just what they look like. And they're going to hold up very well, even though they're not a real, 360-degree weld. But the Blake stitched midsole there is stitched all the way around right there. So that's stitched on real nicely, at least. But we're going to be replacing that midsole as well. Got those nails sticking out, if you see there. Those are what hold the back edge of the heel that's not stitched of the sole, and the heel block as well. They're very important, but we try to clip them at least a little bit just because they're not very safe. If I smack my hand on there, this thing hurts. So, how are you? Good. All right. Now, typically we would take this to the sander and take off all the stitches, but just for you on the live stream here, I'm going to go ahead and actually cut through the stitches because, again, we'll do a cash or trash episode on these Rancourts. Those of you who have been watching, you may already know that I do like these boots so far, from what I can tell on them. Thought I lost this. Forgot I have a hat on, blocking off the view of the boot.
Well, it's the lyrics of the song, but down.
Yep.
Can you see the chat?
Huh?
Chat?
No, it popped up earlier just a little bit.
Did you see my comment?
I didn't glance because it pops up for a second and then disappears, unfortunately. So,
Just wanted to make sure.
yeah, all right.
And then is it okay if I set up my tripod and film myself?
For sure. That was Caleb. If none of you are familiar who that is, he was on Instagram known as the Wandering Cobbler. He's actually a cobbler apprentice that was working with my dad for a while and was apprenticing under my dad. And then when my dad passed away in September, Caleb has watched a number of my videos and a lot of other cobblers too. And he came by here for the first time to finally meet me and everything, and was excited. And he didn't know yet, but my dad had passed away, and it kind of like was a really awkward. Well, not awkward, but it was like supposed to be a happy, exciting introduction to each other, meeting each other. And then I break the news that my dad had passed away. He didn't even know. He was like, "Oh my gosh," because it literally happened like less than a week before Caleb showed up to our shop here. And so it was definitely an interesting moment. But Caleb's in here. He's been helping stitch a lot of the welts and everything. Thanks. Let's see. Who's that? Jaron? I can't see the names too well. Sorry. It's out of distance. And I'm not using my laptop right now. So usually I would have my GoPro set up connected to my laptop and it'd run through like OBS, and that way I can stream on multiple channels, and I could have my laptop here so I could read while the camera's at a distance and everything. And I have a microphone as well, but I can't find all the attachments after I move, so. But hopefully we'll be able to get that back on track, and I'll be able to start posting more videos and content again. I haven't been really active in a lot of places like Facebook groups, Instagram. It's just focused strictly on work lately. So we've got so much boots and shoes that are being worked on, some interesting ones. And those of you who might be interested, we still got that pair of Gaziano Girlings, if you're just tuning in, that we're going to be doing toe plates on. So if you want to check out a pair of Gaziano Girlings, which are kind of a rarity in some of our areas here because we're in Colorado, but got a pair of Rancourts at least in the meantime that we're tearing apart, tearing off the midsole on there. So now at this point, I've got the stitches taken apart on these Rancourts for this midsole here that far. Now, the reason why I can't get to these stitches and take them apart is because those nails are still in there. They're kind of in my way at the moment. I mean, I can try to force it, but I'm going to have to go through and slice each one at the top here. Now, typically, we would just take this to a sander and sand through the stitches because this is all coming off and going in the trash anyways, after we trace it, obviously. But since I'm doing the live stream for all of you to be able to see, I don't want to have to take the phone back and forth for recording and everything. So we're just going to do it this method. Cut through the stitches. I'm gonna need another glass of bourbon here in a little bit. It's Saturday, so it's one of those days where I can enjoy it. Am I, buddy? Oh, sorry, I missed your comment. Oh, there are the comments. Buddy, watch time. Oh, you like the Echo Resole? Yeah, that was an interesting one. I actually have I have a few more. Yeah, we don't like fiberboard, Caleb. Sound is good. All right, glad to hear it. Man, this thing is... Yeah, the Echo resole. I actually have 2 pairs of Echoes I'm going to be doing a resole on as well. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to do videos on it. One of them is an Echo Track 2 high top. So the Echo Track 2 is a little bit more... so right now, what I had so far was the Jack Daniel's, let's see, single barrel select. I don't really go to this one too often. It's kind of rare. I am eyeballing either my Whistling Pig 6-year rye or a few other ones up here that I'll have to check out in a few, but we'll get to them in a second. But yeah, the Echo Track 2s that I'm going to be resoling, they have that molded rubber sole, which is great, very durable. However, those Echo soles, they have issue with dry rotting, and they just practically disintegrate if they're not used properly or stored in a bad situation. And so the gentleman that shipped them in wants me to tear everything off and basically build out a new sole. So we're going to put a welt on there, or a rand possibly too. Once we take them apart, we'll know exactly which direction we'll take it, and then we'll Blake stitch a midsole onto it and just kind of build it out a little more sturdy and a little bit stronger. I'm debating if I get a chance to do a video on it. I definitely would love to on the Track 2s, because those were one of the best soles that they had from Echo, or best boots, at least in my opinion, from Echo. Again, they're molded rubber soles, so they're not exactly top tier boots, but for the price level, those Echo Track 2s were awesome for sure. So now, got these apart here. These are the Rancourt boots here, and yeah, so we had, the way they were designed is that midsole is just stitched on, Blake stitched. You can see those stitches still there, all the way around. Full 360 stitch goes around it. These paddings are just there. They're not a filler of any kind. They're just reinforcement padding because they're a felt material. It helps materials adhere to each other a lot better. But we can definitely take that off. So that's what it looks like, because it's a smooth leather. They use these little pads because they'll glue it on, and then it holds this a lot better on there. So that's kind of nice. And we got these nails still kind of sticking out just a little bit. You might be able to see them behind that. There's one right there. That's one of the nails there. And those nails are going to be holding on that heel base. And for those of you who haven't heard yet, so when I popped off the top lift, which is just this rubber piece right there, underneath it was leather at first glance. That was great, which it is leather. But then this second layer here is fiberboard, so it actually cracked on me. There's a big chunk of it left behind right there, and just ripped off. And like, yeah, we're just going to put on new heel bases anyways. They're soft leather on them. And yeah, so as far as the sole that we are going to be putting on these is a day-night sole, but we're replacing that leather midsole and everything, kind of refreshing them nicely. So I definitely have to hang on to the original midsole to be able to trace it out, because our midsoles are in sheet form. So I have to trace that out and be able to do that. So the Gaziano Girlings, I'd be able to have somebody bring them over to me possibly, but I need a quick second to pour me another glass. Oh man, some cookies. I'm gonna have to. Now these cookies are bomb. Right here. Lady bring them in. Joe told her about them, and she came in yesterday, and she's like, I hate you, because he turned her on to these cookies, and she got a whole bunch of them and brought them over. Apparently there are only certain Whole Foods, and they're actually locally made here in Boulder, Colorado, and they're really good. They're a little on the dry side, but they're really good for sure. I almost knocked them over underneath the table here, so that's why I brought them up. But if you're a cookie lover, they're definitely worth checking out if your local Whole Foods or any other store may have them. Now, where is my... Huh? Natural grocers. I thought it was at Whole Foods. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there's not much of this left, but I don't like rye too much, but this is probably my favorite rye. And as you can tell, yeah, even after the other night... we've been having quite a few of this over a long period of time. So, all right. Yeah, we also have Sazerac rye here. That it was all right, but it's another rye. Basically, we've got let's see, got some scotches. We've got Glenfiddich 12, 14, 15 year. Fiddick. Let's see, 12, 14, 15 year. Highland Park 12, Macallan 12. There's some good stuff and some bad stuff up here. We got, let's see, uncut, unfiltered, what was that, Smoke Wagon. We've got 2 or 3 different types, or maybe that third one was finished off already. We got 1792 Full Proof, Blue Run, Elijah Craig. What the heck else? I mean, we've had a couple of Mictors, but we keep finishing off the bourbon. The rye one we haven't even cracked. Again, not a fan of ryes here in the shop too much. Let's see, we've got Four Roses. We've got the single barrel Four Roses. We've got the, I forgot what that one was. It's the cheaper one. I got it on sale at our local King Soopers, actually. We got a big liquor store in the King Soopers over by my house. So I got this thing for like under $30. It was a really good deal on that. We got 13th Century with a really cool bottle. You guys are going to want to see this. It's got the still inside of it. Isn't that cool? But this one is a little bit on the higher proof there. Let's see, 66%. So it's got a little bit of a kick. And then, yeah. So for any of you that may be wondering what this is all about with the drinks, what do you think of your boots? Let's see. More boots. So I'm not too familiar with those ones actually. It's one of those brands that I haven't seen too much. I'm sorry, I'm having to squint because I'm trying to see. But yeah, it's not one that I'm too familiar honestly with. But if I come across them, I'll definitely have to do a cash or trash on those.
What's it cost to do a midsole?
A midsole, they're an extra 10 on those for the midsoles. So, yeah, picking out some vibrant soles and for a pair of Birkenstocks. Nice. Yeah, we got a lot of interesting ones in for sure. But yep, I got Whistling Pig right now, the 6-year rye. Probably the only rye I like, honestly. But cheers to everyone out there. All right. So now at this point, I'm going to take out the insole on these Rancourts. It's just a regular 3/4 length insole. And we got to get it out so we can pull some of these stitches and get these nails out of the way here. What's the question, Olive? Yep. What do you think? So I'm not familiar with those boots, honestly. I mean, I may have had a boot or two of those come in, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But if I get a pair in, I'll definitely do a cash or trash episode for sure, because it's just one of those that we don't see too often, honestly. It's some boots and shoes we see a ton of, other ones we don't, like Alan Edmonds, Red Wing, we get a ton of those. Wolverine 1,000 Miles, Birkenstocks, we get a ton of them when the season hits. And, you know, it's just Christian Louboutins, but then there are other things we just don't see too often. They're almost like regional, I've noticed, like Rancourt, for example. I mean, I get them quality and super tough hiking boots. Yeah, from what I've seen, definitely I've seen them as really good boots for sure. So the ones we mainly get out here, most commonly in Colorado, as far as hiking boots, are going to be a Solo and Vasque. Now, I like Vasque quite a bit. We've had a few other ones, and I can't remember the brands off the top of my head. We're ready to buy or made in Germany. Dang, over a year for those custom boots. That's going to take a while for sure. Hi. Doing a live stream, so yeah. But yeah, hiking boots are a big thing out here in Colorado, but I don't see too many of those for sure. we get Vask is again probably one of my favorite ones that I see frequently come through the shop when it comes to those. But we've got a few sole options available for resoling on those. Usually those hiking boots, they kind of go to the extreme. Either we're just replacing just the tread pattern on it. Other times we're just tearing everything off and just putting like whole cup sole and everything.
Okay. So this is actually going to be down to the thing. He's very good at.
Okay. So I'm trying to see.
Real quick, 1 inch lip.
1 inch. We're looking at what are those ones there? Okay, so we'd be looking at 115 on that currently at the moment, just because the materials have gone up in price recently on that, but they're 115. Okay. Yeah. All right. Doing some orthopedic lifts, and then what's going on, Caleb?
The welt is assigned to be not nice to me.
Welt. Let's see.
I stitched through it.
Oh.
I stitched through it. And it split when I was pulling it tight.
Sometimes that sometimes that kind of stuff happens. Welt rips, so we gotta readjust the angle and everything. And really, all right. Those cookies. Yeah, no. Well, my tool belt keeps catching them. So, and just a dab of glue. I think I had to start using this big tool belt and everything. Yeah, just started using it the other day. Somebody left it a long time ago, like years ago.
I'm like Alex getting pimped out with tool belts.
Well, I'm like, I keep losing the tools. Like I set it down somewhere, someone else grabs it, and then I'm running around like,
give it to me.
yeah. And then I run around looking for. I mean, we got plenty of tools. It's just, whatever's close by, just grab it and then set it down in a dumb spot. Yeah, let me just get this one here, and then I'll be able to secure it just a little bit more with adhesive. All right. So, anyone else that's watching, you into any bourbons at all, or any other types of drinks? Love to hear who's got what favorite drink out there. Tard and Company split into two. I had no idea that the company actually split. Now, the hiking community, the sneakerhead community, it's kind of a whole different category for me, honestly, so I don't know too much about them. You start telling me about a special limited edition Jordan, that goes right over my head, basically. All right.
Thank you, Master.
Yep. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with a lot of those communities quite yet. You got to keep in mind there are hundreds of shoe and boot communities just on Facebook alone. Plus, there's Reddit and everything else. So it's hard to track what's going on. But talk to two types of Mara boots, custom made in U.S. and ready to buy, made in Germany.
You need anything on this? Just the 1 inch.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to make a copy, but the printer isn't hooked up, so if we can just snap a photo. Yeah, that way I can print it up and have it on file, usually. So, yeah, prescriptions we try to keep on file just in case as well. All right?
I'm sure I'll be bringing in other shoes.
Yeah, that way we'll have your information and we can put it into the system as well. That helps us a lot. So,
Yes.
yep. We do orthopedic lifts. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for those of you who are wondering what that conversation is about, but orthopedic lifts, we actually do quite a few of them because it doesn't fall into the category of like custom orthotics or anything. It's like right in between orthopedic work and the cobbling work, because when we do orthopedic lifts, a cobbler has to be able to slice off the sole or take off the sole one way or another, put a lift in there, and then reattach the original sole or a new sole. And most orthopedic companies don't do that kind of stuff. They can make custom orthotics and do adjustments to the internal structure of the shoe, but the external part is actually a lot more work that they don't handle, unfortunately. So we do a lot of orthopedic lifts. used to do custom orthotics. I'm trying to stay away from doing that because it's a whole nother category, and I prefer not to get into that one. Again, with my father passing away in September, his location actually did a lot of orthopedic work as far as like custom orthotics, orthotic adjustments, and all that. So I had to honor that at least after he passed away, and the current orthotics he had, I started to do some work on it, like refurbishments and adjustments. But it's a really hard thing to be able to switch off when one person started a job on orthopedic work and then another person has to continue it. It's a lot more of a problem than we'd like to deal with. Um, you like Isla Scotch as far as bourbons. I like Blanton's. I had a bottle of Blanton's. We finished it off actually once my dad passed away. We cheersed with it for one last time. And yeah, so Maker's Mark, that one's good for mixing. I've got, as far as the only Isla Scotch in here, and I have to take another 6-month break off of it, but Ardbeg. I overdrank it at one point in like kind of a business meeting type of thing. And so now I have to kind of refresh my palate and not drink it for a little while just because it's an Isla Scotch. So do you guys have Stranahan's? We don't judge. We do have Stranahan's. I'm not a big fan of it personally. It's really sweet, like really sweet, and I don't like sweet. Now, everyone else that I've given to is somebody who's new to any kind of whiskey or stronger drinks. It's that perfect kind of drink to start someone out with. But Stranahan's is not a me thing. I've actually 2021 batch, which is a really cool story. But 2021 batch, I had a small flask brought into me of their Snowflake Stranahan's. This was brought in by their lead distiller to me, who brought in a pair of boots that we had to put a sole protector on, and I think toe plates possibly on it too. But he's like, I'm going to bring you some of that Snowflake. And now Snowflake from Stranahan's is kind of one of those really limited edition releases where people wait in snowstorms outside of their facility to get it. I just thought since you're in Colorado, yeah, definitely. But this one was a cool one for sure to be able to have. Again, it's really sweet. I've only got like that much left of this one. I'm gonna hang on to it. Who knows? Maybe have somebody come in that's special that I'd be like, hey, try some of this. My wife doesn't drink too much, but every now and then, maybe she'll have that last little droplet to try it. Maybe she might like it. It's not for me, but she might. So, cheers to the wives that are getting into bourbons or already are. Now, whoa, splashed a little bit there. Thankfully, did not get on the boot. Got on my arm. But to the bourbons, I'd love to be able to get some cigars going in here, but because of the cigar smoke and the smell, it gets into that leather and becomes a little potent. So I'm hoping to figure something out in here. Joe and Derek have been coming in helping out a lot with rebuilding this place. This place looks pretty cool. So it's coming along nicely. Like this back end of the wall here, we call it Souls and Spirits. It's where all the leather work gets done, like polishing, shining, custom dye work. That's the department that Marcus kind of runs. We've got the Cobblers Plus, where all the repairs and like the really heavy lifting type stuff is done in the back, and we're hoping to kind of close that area off a little more so that we can have some cigars eventually in here, be able to host events. We've got some companies that want to be able to host events already in here, and I'm not talking just business companies, but like shoe and boot brands too. So to Derek, we love you, man. Four Roses, small batch bourbon here, good for price. So I don't know if I got the small batch. I got the single barrel, and I don't know if I got the small batch, but I got to check which bottle that one is. Is that straight bourbon? Nope. It's not the small batch. It's just the straight bourbon one that I've got. And I got it for like $27, $28 at King Soopers. Really good price. Hey, Caleb. You able to help me out with the Gaziano Girlings and bring him over by any chance? See if he's listening. Oh, those cookies. They just keep catching.
What do you say?
The Gaziano Girling box. It's somewhere in that area. Are you able to grab that for me? If you can, and then a set of toe plates. They're right above in the little trays there, right above my workbench. They're in the box. I think they might be on the chair. Yep. Yeah, I think they got the trees and everything in them. All right. I do need a set of toe plates, Triumph ones. They're in. Yeah, they're in the little trays above my workbench. The little blue ones that I have lined up there. There's some Triumph toe plates in there. All right, you guys ready to see these Gaziano Girlings? These things are beautiful. We're gonna put toe plates on them, so we're gonna do a live. Welcome to everyone else that's joining and everything. I had to do a live stream just because it's been a while since I've been on, and kind of have to do some explaining because I haven't been posting or getting on. So to those of you who just joined, cheers. Hope you're having a great Saturday. You can invest in a good air purifier if you want. We can get a purifier, but the problem is that smoke still gets into the leather enough where some people are not going to like it. Let's see, what else you got? Just watched that vintage Justin recraft. Super. Thank you for that. I'll be honest, I can't remember. I've done so many videos and everything. I get some weird projects. Let's see, the Justins. Oh, okay, I remember those now. So there was the Justins, because I'm for some reason I'm mixing them up with the Ariats that we did a custom build. Okay, thank you. Oh, those are 3mm.
I was gonna ask you what millimeter, but then I was like,
Yeah. Well, I also so there's 1.5mm ones. There's a bunch of them stacked up in there. Yeah.
I'll go look again.
Yeah, I'll hang on to one to just trace it or show it. But do you watch Rosanville? I've checked out some of Rosanville's stuff personally. I don't watch it too much. Let's see. Yeah, that guy does a lot of cool stuff. There's some interesting things. Which video was it? There's a little while ago he cut a pair of boots apart and he just trashed them, like really trashed them for what they are and everything. And it was like it was blowing up all over the internet. It's kind of like with me and my Viborg video that I did a little while ago. And I kind of trashed these Viborgs because for the price point, they were not worth it. But it was a pair that they collaborated. It was a collab pair or collab style that they made. And yeah, but they were just not great, like for that price level. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to stay in frame here and everything. So yeah. All right. You guys ready? Gaziano and Girling shoes. You guys better be liking this if you want to see the Gazianos. Come on, I need likes. Plenty of likes. Share it too. You can share the link for the live stream and everything, especially for somebody that's just getting into shoes and boots, somebody that's interested in them. They may be interested in checking it out because we just took apart these Rancourts already and got to see them. Obviously, I'll be doing a Cash or Trash episode in the near future on them because I've got one apart. I'm not taking apart this other one here. I'm going to leave it as is so that I can kind of show what they look like before I tore them apart. But for those of you that may have missed it, these Rancourts are a Blake Rapid Stitch design. They're a little over $320 a pair. Blake Rapid Stitch means that the midsole is Blake stitched on, meaning it's stitched clear through the inside here of the footbed. And then the actual sole, so there's a leather sole, and then there's the rubber sole protector as a half sole. That is outsole stitched to keep it on there. Now, I like these so far, but I'm going to have to give them a full Cash or Trash, review and rating and everything. So make sure you're hitting the subscribe and notification bell icon as well, so you're notified once that video is out. Now, I'm not going to do a full recraft on these because I did them on the live. I'd love to do a full recraft, but at the very least, I'll try to get out a Cash or Trash episode because we've been just swamped here. So without further ado, I'll say one last cheers real quick before we reveal these Gaziano Girlings. Make sure you're hitting that like button. And cheers. Have a good Saturday. Hope everyone's enjoying it. We got DJ work going on in here and all that. I love to have a pair of G&Gs. I just wish I had more of a reason to wear nice dress shoes. You and me both, honestly. I've got a handful of dress shoes that I purchased at like thrift stores. Like I've got the last pair of footwear that I actually bought at a regular store, brand new, like never used, and I didn't even buy them at a store. I ordered them online. Was Thursday Boot Company boots. Thursday Boot Company are probably one of my favorite Goodyear welted boot brands out there. For about $200, I got the Captain model, which is great. Now, full disclosure with the Captains or any of the Thursday boots, the rubber sole that they put on there, that looks like the day-night sole. It's got those little studded patterns on there. It's a little bit on the softer side, so if you're somebody that has a little bit of a toe drag, meaning you tend to wear out the toe, you're going to catch that toe and it's going to rip the sole a little bit. I'm just giving you a heads up. That happens, but you can definitely get these resold and get them upgraded with a day-night or a Vibram sole as well. A lot of people do that. I've got probably like at least 15 pairs of Thursdays in the shop right now that are being worked on. They're being shipped in, brought in, all over the place. They are great boots. I love the Thursday boots. And for those of you who may have never checked out some of my videos where I compared a day-night sole versus a Vibram Eaton sole, that's, again, they're very similar soles where they got those pegs, but they're all rubber instead of like a half sole like this. To give you kind of an insight, if you're checking this out, the Vibram Eaton does a lot better indoors on smooth and wet surfaces. The day-night soles does better outdoors as far as better grip. So I'm just kind of giving you guys a heads up on that. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out some of the videos I posted comparing as well. Ooh, had a little bit of a hiccup there. All right. Cheers, everyone.
I just realized that's easy.
All right. So the Gaziano Girlings. What's your opinion on the best cowboy boots brand and build quality? So build quality is always going to be debatable because all Western boots are handmade to a certain degree, regardless of what they are. Some are completely handmade, just because they're Western boots. So my personal top two brands for Western boots are going to be Tecovas for the price point, and then Lucchese if you go up a little bit higher, definitely. Now, obviously, there's going to be some debate about that and some arguments, but those are my top two picks personally, is Lucchese and Tecovas. And if you're in the Denver area, we actually have both now. We got a Lucchese store downtown that opened up, and then we also got a Tecovas that opened up in Cherry Creek. So I just missed. Do you think Vibram Green Label is good for ice? Oh, Green Label.
Man,
I'm trying to think of what
it
Green
was
Label.
this or it was Budweiser and.
Sorry, this thing's not standing. It's so wobbly. I have to keep swiping it down. So if you're wanting for ice, there's the Arctic Grip sole. That's going to be designed for ice in particular, but because they use such a soft rubber for grip purposes, it's not very durable. It's not an everyday type of wear boot or shoe. The other one that I highly like is either the Olympia or the Sierra sole by Vibram, just because of the particular tread pattern on it. And they use the RSBR rubber, very durable, very good grip. On even smooth surfaces, not the best, but it's still very good compared to other brands or other styles out there. And then it's got good traction. The more dressier version, I personally like the Vibram Eaton. It's a little bit more dressy. The rubber compound's very grippy for me on smooth surfaces in here. So those are my top picks for a Vibram sole. I'll have to do whole videos for you guys at some point finally when I get back. I have a Thursday Chelsea, a few Grand Stones, and Alden Indies. Good list so far. And a Indonesian brand service style boot. That's cool. Yeah, good brands. Thursday boot. Alden is great, but they've been having some issues lately with their quality control. Grandstone are phenomenal. Thursday makes cowboy boots. Yes, I know they make cowboy boots. We're not going to bring that up right now. I haven't seen a pair yet, honestly. We're getting to that. We'll get to the Thursday boot cowboy boots. If they send me a pair, I'll definitely love to do a review and check them out. We got Caleb over here dancing. I don't know what he's wanting now. So we can't get to the Gaziano reveal. Because I keep reading the comments and stuff also. And let's see. Green Label is dual compound. Okay. So you're talking about like, what's that model number? I can't remember that soul style name. So those are the dual compound. They're nice, lighter weight options available. So they're great, but depends the application. All the soles have certain applications that you want to aim for. You want something that's going to be really grippy in the shop here, smooth surfaces, all that kind of stuff. Roofing, for example, the Vibram 4014, that wedge sole, is originally designed for roofers because it has the best surface distribution area and grips. That's what I recommend for roofers especially. But then we have the Vibram double sole. You get that kind of wedge sole look, and you can add a Sierra or whatever other sole over top of that. The Vibram 100 sole, for example, that's kind of for the loggers technically, but there's a lot of people that do it even for fashion purposes. So I like options. Everyone says, "What's your favorite sole? What do you recommend?" I like options. I like having one boot or shoe with one type of sole, one boot or shoe with another type of sole. Options, it's not just the appearance that you're after, but also the functionality of it. Soles are the functional aspect of it. Do you want something that grips in really bad weather? Do you want something that grips really good on tile and, like in my case, cement in the back all day long? So different options, different soles are really, really good to have. If you have a personal preference, like you love day night, it doesn't hurt to have a pair or two with maybe like a different style. Some people have like over a dozen pairs of shoes, so it doesn't hurt if you have a dozen pairs. If you have only one or two pairs, pick out what's most universal for your purposes. Most of your cobblers are willing to talk to you and work with you on what options there are out there. In my case, I'll spend a few minutes with you definitely and explain the difference between which sole is going to be your better choice for your purposes. So, all right. Caleb's distracted. It's time to reveal these Gaziano Girlings. Okay, Gaziano Girling. These things are not cheap. These things are really cool, really exciting. We don't get too much of these in. I've had a handful. There's just not many people out here that have Gazianos. So these have some really, so this doesn't come with it. This is the customer info. But these have some really nice, really nice bags. Like, the softness of this. The softness. Oh, they're so soft. I gotta tell you. All right. So these have been worn. These have been worn. Full disclosure. So these are the Gaziano Girlings there. Things are thousands of dollars. What did I drop now? I keep catching things with my belt, so I'm not gonna drop these shoes and just show you. Now look at how tight that taper is right in that arch area there. See that? The difference. Oh man, thank you, Matt. Oh shoot, thank you. All right. Keep dropping everything. Sorry, I had to set them down. Put them right there. But these are a double monk strap. They got a nice patina on them. Look at that marbled kind of museum finish look on there. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with shoes and quality build, now these Gaziano Girlings are a few $1,000s. We're talking over $2,000 easily. Gaziano Girling are very meticulous about their quality standards. The liner on them is really premium on it too. The way they stitch it is very meticulously crafted on it. On all aspects of it. These things are very nice. I know. Now, so these are Goodyear welted. If you're not familiar, Goodyear welted means the sole is stitched on the outside right here. But the cool thing is you can't see the stitching underneath here because they do what's called a blind stitch. For those of you who are not familiar, I know a number of you are, and you're going to say, we all know now. There's a lot of newcomers to the community of shoes and everything. A blind stitch means that they take the leather, slice it, fold it over, do the stitch on the outside of the shoe, and then lay that leather back down and glue it. That's what a blind stitch is. I actually got this out in Edmonds that I was experimenting with to be able to show it off. So I did what's called a half blind stitch on this. So you can see the stitching right here. The stitching goes through right there and is on the outside edge perimeter of the shoe all the way around it, so it stitches the sole. This spot right here had a blind stitch. Now these obviously have been beaten up because they've been on display. They're all kinds of beaten up and everything. I mean, the mirror shine that we had. Look at that. Look how beat up that is. You have to fix that. I might do a video on fixing that kind of stuff on your mirror shines. These things have just been destroyed. But I'm just showing off the blind stitch on there. So normal Goodyear welted stitch, blind stitch. That's what these Gaziano Girlings have there. So, somebody said something long. I'm going to have to read your message or comment. Me and my buddy are noobs, but we have quality boots and want to learn more. We just smoke. Wait. You said something about we smoke and watch Cobblers plus Rosanville and Terry. I appreciate it. Now, I mean, I'm in the state of Colorado, so don't matter what exactly it is that you smoke in our case. Like me personally, I partake in cigars mostly. I'd have a cigar in my hand if I could right now. I'm having a cigar later tonight, going to a really nice classy cigar lounge I haven't been to yet inside of the Brown Palace Hotel downtown. It's the Churchill Lounge, really nice. So I'm going to go out there with a buddy of mine to enjoy a cigar finally. It's been a little while. And I'm going to need some more bourbon here in a second. I had a rye actually just now, but I might switch it up to a bourbon. And yeah, I'm gonna be able to enjoy my cigars. Cigars, ooh, yes, I smoke them. Yeah, I love my cigars. I mean, they're wonderful. Cigars, bourbon, and high quality footwear. And I just dropped something. Okay. I just keep knocking stuff over and dropping it. But yeah, even here at the shop, I usually try to keep a little bit of a stack, just a little bit. Get some cigars there. I got another box over there in my car. Usually, I have a bag of cigars as well. So I do enjoy me my cigars, and we're hoping to be able to figure something out so we can definitely have a few in the shop here for sure. But yep, these are the Gazianos saying the three great things in life: good smoke, good drink, good footwear. True that. True that. There's a few add-ons to that. One of them I probably shouldn't mention on here because it causes a lot of chaos in a number of groups all the time. I know on the Lucchese enthusiast page on Facebook, if you haven't joined that, definitely check it out. It's one of the groups I originally created. There's a lot of conflict about a certain topic there, but it falls into the topics of all of this cool stuff you can appreciate. Then there's also cars and fishing and all sorts of things. But the three core principles that you're going to be really after is going to be your shoes. You wear those all the time. Bourbon, very gentlemanly, classy, and cigars. The three. My aunt and uncle live in Westminster. I haven't been to Westminster in a while, honestly. Colorado. Next time I visit them, I will have to come to your shop. I appreciate you following us for a while, and yeah, if you guys haven't checked out, there's also I haven't seen anybody mention, but there's one other cobbler. He's got way more subscribers than me, but Steve Declan at Beatles Leatherworks is the name. He's out in Virginia. He's got over 100. He's got literally 10 times more subscribers than me. And everything, but definitely you guys will want to check him out if you haven't, because I haven't seen somebody talking about him. Steve does some awesome work for sure. What page on Facebook? My buddy has Facebook. So Facebook has a lot of groups, honestly, a lot of groups. So I'll name off at least the ones that I've started. So there's the Luke Casey enthusiast page. If you're into Western boots, like I got a pair of Luke Casey's here. Marcus is going to be actually dyeing these. These are ostrich. What? What? Oh man. Marcus has to get in.
What up?
But so Marcus is dyeing the ostrich here to match that shaft area there on those. Luke Casey enthusiast page. Then there is let's see, Thursday Boot enthusiast group that I co-started with another cobbler, Sonny Yu, and I started that group together. Then there's Exotic Leather Enthusiasts as well as another one that I started. There's Gentleman's Den that I've been working on trying to get kickstarted. It's just a bunch of cool stuff for gentlemen, basically. Ladies, you can join too, but it's really more of like a man cave type surrounding type of thing. Then there's like Alan Edmonds enthusiasts. There's Alden enthusiasts. Those aren't groups I started. There's North American Shoe Rebuilders. There's a lot of groups. I mean, if you're on Facebook, you can check out some of the groups that Cobblers Plus. If you see us on Facebook, there's a couple of groups that Cobblers Plus is a part of. And then if you see me on there as well, you can probably see some of the groups on there. But there's a lot of them. I know Reddit has a bunch. I'm not very active at all on Reddit. Reddit's a little over my head with trying to figure out karma right now. I tried it, and I'm like posting stuff, and people are like, "Oh, you can't post here. You don't have enough karma." Like, what the hell is karma? It took me a while to figure it out. So, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'll get to it eventually. Right now, I got to get back on track to all you YouTube fans out there. After last year, trust me, it was ridiculous. beginning of last year, I was in the ER with COVID. Every symptom you could possibly get with COVID, I was out for weeks basically, and ended up on oxygen. Basically, almost died. In other words, then the year got crazier. Then we had to move the shop. Then the year got crazier. Then my dad died. And just the whole year was interesting for sure. It was not an easy one, but that's the way it goes. So my glass ended up somewhere, and I need to pour me another glass of bourbon. Let's see. We'll do not another glass of bourbon, but a glass of bourbon. So, I got the single barrel Four Roses. That sounds pretty good, and it's getting kind of low. Everyone keeps drinking it, so let me grab that real quick. Single barrel Four Roses. How to bring that out. So I haven't had this one in a little while. Well, actually, no, I did have it not long ago, but I'm going to finish off that Whistling Pig a little. Yes, I reuse glasses. Some people say that's a bad thing. Cheers, good sir. It's a Saturday for me here, so I'm just kind of relaxing for the moment and just doing partial work. We're about to start cutting the toe plates on these. We're going to be putting some triumphs right there. So we need to cut the sole and everything on that, and we're going to get ready to do that. So a pair of, I don't even know what these ones are running. My estimate is they're pushing that 3,000 mark, but they're probably roughly around 2K most likely. But they got the marbled finish and everything. So if you're ever wondering, I hear people saying, I never knew that there were shoes that were thousands of dollars. Our record-breaking pair of shoes was over $30,000, or it was boots, over $30,000. That's our record one that we've had come through the shop. We've had purses and other things that are even more expensive come through the shop for sure. But the absolute most expensive thing I've ever worked on, if you're very curious, I'll tell you after a quick drink. Cheers to everyone. Happy Saturday. But the most expensive thing I have ever worked on. You're gonna have to like this live stream if you want to hear what the most expensive thing is I've worked on. A $4.6 million house where we did the staircase. We covered the staircase in shark and stingray. That is the most expensive item I've ever worked on, I guess you want to call it. Wait, what are you saying? My favorite. Why the customer wants it? Yes, and I get a lot of those custom jobs on jobs that are just ridiculously dumb. It's yeah, I get a lot of those. Trust me. Getting in cheap boots and shoes, and somebody wants something absolutely ridiculous. I get stuff like that frequently, and I really try to tell people, like, buy a new pair. Like, you're paying 5, 8, 10 times more than what the boots or shoes are worth. Bespoke hand welted shoes can get crazy expensive. Oh yes, they can. Let's see. How do those videos? So those videos don't actually perform all that well, honestly. The ones that seem to perform the most are just basic things, honestly. Like my two top videos that are like top rated is Red Wing Mocktail Resole. It was nothing crazy. It was just a Vibram Christie sole that we put on there. It's my top performing video. My second top performing video is a basic Birkenstock resole. It wasn't even one of the interesting soles. It was just a basic new footbed, new sole. Those are my top two performing videos over the years. So yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, for those of you, if you heard me right, the most expensive item I've ever worked on was over $4 million, over $4.5 million, technically. It was a house, and we did the staircase in it. The guy wanted his staircase covered in shark and stingray. Each step was covered in shark, and right where the fins were cut out, we inlaid stingray, and each riser was stingray. Let's see, hobby. Oh, hey there. I think Joe. Hey, Caleb. Is Joe or Marcus in the back? Can you grab one of them by any chance? Sorry about that, Brian. Sorry. All right. Yeah. Well, Joe or Marcus might be able to help you out in a second. All right. But hobbyist bootmaker here. Did you ever attempt to make your own boots and shoes? I have. I've made boots and shoes. Most of the time, they were orthopedic related type things. I get a lot of requests for. I've got people that want to fly out here to get fitted for custom made shoes and boots, but it's not something I want to get around to doing quite yet. It's going to be a very difficult thing to do. I've got literally hundreds of jobs in right now for just repairs, recraft, rebuilds, customizations as is. And a number of these jobs, I'm the only one that can do them. Like I've got help here in the shop, but there's limitations on what everyone can do. So, a lot of that stuff falls on me. So making custom boots and shoes is maybe down the road. I'd love to do that. There's a lot of things I have to take into consideration first. I am working on very specific sandals, at least, making custom and stuff, but from scratch. But they're going to be like at a premium cost. We're talking like Birkenstocks, but like ridiculous, stupid, ridiculous stuff. You guys are going to have to check it out. We're working on it in the meantime, though. We're talking like full-blown fashion Birkenstocks. I mean, Birkenstock is now owned by LVMH, Louis Vuitton, so they're technically a fashion brand now. I never thought it'd be that kind of fashion brand, but apparently it is. So LVMH owns Birkenstock now. So, Gaziano Girlings. Vibe Hamp. Oh, Vibram, Tank, Shredder. The Tank Tread. Tank Tread. Which one's the Tank Tread? Are you talking about the normal, like, what they call it, the waffle? Some people call it the waffle. Some people call it there's a number of soles that people call them the wrong thing as well, but I'm thinking like the tank sole. My phone is running. So, obviously with more tread, yep, glad to be back. It's only for a short while. Alan, see? Hey, I'm Alan too. Hi, Alan. But yeah, I was out for a little while. Last year was chaotic. In September, my dad passed away, and so I'm kind of still dealing with his shop and stuff. So that's why I haven't been able to post in a while. Things have just been crazy. Like I'd love to be able to post, but I'm like at the very least I'm gonna do a live stream. And I've just been kind of BSing around with everyone on here. So hopefully everyone's kind of coming and going. We don't have too many people at any given time, but definitely give us a thumbs up, and join us if you have some time. So now let's get some of these Gaziano Girlings going. Matt's over here DJing. He doesn't hear me. He's got his DJ headphones on right now, but that's why there's music in the background, making it all cool. All right, Gaziano Girling time. I'm gonna set these down in the back behind me. All right. Nobody better judge me or anything. I quit smoking some years ago, cigarettes, and I'm gonna hit my vape pen real quick. Hopefully, you guys aren't too concerned about that. If I could, I would have a cigar in my hand right now. It's a little more gentleman-like. Fits the environment here a little more, but until we get that back area closed off, we're not going to be able to have cigars quite yet. Now, Triumph toe plates. I actually have two different types here. You can't tell. Can't tell, can you? But there are two different ones. Look at that. So this is your standard 1.5 millimeter Triumph toe plate that you see just about everywhere as far as cobblers using. This thicker, just giant 3 millimeter, double the thickness, is a solid brass one. Now, these were actually shipped to me, and I'm hoarding them shipped to me by a fellow cobbler out in Amsterdam. And he shipped them out to me. And I was like, this is really cool. So I've got only a couple of them left, and I'm kind of hoarding them until we have a distributor here in the U.S. for them that's a little more substantial. Then I'll try to provide them. But these toe plates, you got to keep in mind, are very hard to install because we have to cut out 3 millimeters of material out of the sole. So usually I prefer to do these on a full resole. I won't do it on a pair that's already got an existing sole on it, just because we're cutting through too much of the material and everything. So if it's a new sole or a double leather sole or something like that, I'll do the 3mm. But the 1.5mm is what our standard is. These are a stainless steel with a brass plating on the outside, so keep that in mind. Like some people are saying, I don't like the gold color. Because these are stainless steel with brass plating, we can actually buff that off as well. I kind of want a brass toe plate on some big hiking boots. Hiking boots? Are you crazy? That stuff's not going to go on there. So the rule of thumb is we need a leather sole. We have to be able to cut into the sole to be able to put this in flush. Now there are some weird toe plates out there that are designed for like motocross style boots and Harley boots and everything, where they're metals. You can have those installed. So maybe some of them might be able to work on some of your hiking boots. But yeah, I'm not putting these on no hiking boots. I know I get stupid jobs in sometimes, but that's one I don't even want to attempt right now, honestly. Let's see. Is that shoe sole thick enough for 3mm of anything plate? Not quite. So not safely. I wouldn't put that on the Gaziano. Oh, take a quick peek at that. Yeah, we'll have to get it. It's a lot of spots to clean out, so we'll probably be looking. Is it on both or just the one? Okay, we'll have to touch up the top as well on that. Probably be looking at about 65, honestly, because I'm going to have to pull it back. So it's quite a bit there, but yeah. So the 3mm won't go onto the Gaziano Girling. No, I'm not going to do that because it's a lot of material I'm going to chop out. There's Matt over here. Matt, you want to say hi? Matt's our DJ today. Yeah, Mark is his little brother. He does DJ work and everything, so he's in here with his turntables doing some DJ work. And I just put the Gaziano somewhere. Where the hell did I put that thing? It's on the jack stand. I'm like leaning on the shoe, trying to find the shoe. That happens often. All right, the 1.5mm toe plate. Hi, Alan. Can he scratch? What? I think so. I mean, he's got a turntable. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. I don't know what to say. It's just normal music in the background. He's having fun and dancing and everything. So I don't know. I still want to try it out too. I didn't do a DJ. I did sound systems at our church years ago. I was the lead sound systems guy at our church, so I know that side of things. But I never really got into DJing. So all right. So the Gaziano Girlings, we're about to start cutting them to install the Triumph toe plates. Brian had brought some beer in there, and I'm gonna have some afterwards. After I finish off my whiskey, it's really good beer. Hopefully it's cold. It was cold. It snowed last night, and it snowed just a little bit here today again. Earlier this week, we got hit with a pretty heavy snowstorm, and to be honest, I crashed here at the shop 2 nights. My wife was not happy. I was like, where I live, if it snows, we're not getting snow plows coming through for a while. So it's a little bit harder to put these toe plates on a worn sole like these, just because the markings are sometimes hard to see. What did you say? Sorry, man. I don't think we should use knives today. I may agree with you here shortly. Problem is, so you guys are judging me by my red face. It's I've gotten some sun and everything recently, so that's all it is. But I should be okay, just for a few. So this is just going to be marked up. So the Gaziano, I don't know if you guys it's so hard to see on video. Huh? Yeah, the Gazianos. So it's very hard to see, but you can see just a little bit of a line here that I just marked only with the knife. I'm not cutting it quite yet. Huh?
Tie off the weld.
Okay, I guess we're not cutting into that yet. We're tying up the weld. Let me grab that, because you got the midsoles to stitch still, remember? The other ones.
Oh!
Yeah.
I'm sorry, wait, these new midsoles?
Yeah, not these ones, but the other ones. There's
Yeah,
hand stitched
yeah, you
midsoles.
gotta.
Yep. It's the same thing basically. I mean, the midsole's already on. It's nothing loose. You're just going through the same holes over and over. So same concept basically.
Yeah, I'll just bring one out here. So
All right. Well,
you want me to do that?
yeah, if you want to grab that. See, I can still use a knife. I'm being very careful. Okay. Tie off some welt real quick for Caleb. How the air compressor scare you? Yeah, air compressor kicks on, and sometimes if you're standing next to it and you're not prepared, it might freak you out. It's even worse if I'm working like really late at night. The air compressor kicks on, and then just like freaks me out. Huh?
That's like the Danners.
Yeah, Danner boots. Give me the one without the tag for now. Yeah, yeah. Got some Danner boots here. I have to get that midsole on there stitched up by hand. Danner boots. So Danner boots are a stitch down construction. This is kind of perfect. I can actually show you guys a number of boots and shoes real quick. I'm just tie this off and I can compare a few for you. So I'm gonna be hitting that like button, and hopefully we'll get a few more people on here. So don't be leaving quite yet. I'll show you in comparison a Lake Rapid stitch, a stitch down construction, a Goodyear welted blind stitch, and the welt going on. It's kind of a cool setup to be able to check out. But let me just tie this off real quick because I have no idea what Caleb did here, and it's all kinds of messed up, wrapped around, and everything. Okay. I'm gonna leave that thread there. Okay, so we're gonna start out with the Goodyear welted. Goodyear welted is definitely one of the more popular, more common things that you see on nicer quality dress boots and shoes. And this is what we have here. This is a Goodyear welted Peel and Company shoe that we replaced the welt on. Let me stretch the welt real quick. So the welt is this part right here that we just stitched on. So once this is all filled in with cork, a sole goes on here, and then we do an outsole stitch all around here. So you see the stitches on the top of this leather piece here. That holds that leather sole on real good, or the rubber sole on, and everything. Man, they start bumping up that music. That's gonna stitch it all the way around and everything, and it's gonna be a good. This is what you see in good quality shoes, is that Goodyear welt design and everything. So I'm gonna set this one aside for Caleb to be able to grab. Now, step up from that. Usually with the Goodyear welted stitch, you see the stitches on the bottom. Well, this one is a blind stitch, meaning it's still Goodyear welted, just like that other shoe. It's stitched clear through, but we open the leather up and then stitch it and then cover it back up with the leather so it's invisible, blind stitch. That's what's on these Gaziano Girlings that are $2,000. Then we've got another one that's really common to see is a stitch down or a turn welt, basically, meaning that you see the leather on the boot, it comes down and then turns out at a 90-degree angle, and then is stitched to a midsole or a sole. That's what these Danners are. You probably won't be able to see it, but that's what a stitch down is. It's literally this same upper that you see right here is stitched directly. Where a Goodyear welted, I'm gonna steal that one back. Where a Goodyear welted, standard Goodyear welted shoe or boot, you've got the shoe upper, then the welt is stitched to that upper, and then the sole is stitched to the welt. That's what a standard Goodyear welted. Where a turn welt um, or split. Why am I saying split? A turn welt typically, or a stitch down. I was getting confused with all the welts here, but a stitch down is literally the upper of the boot is getting stitched directly to the midsole or sole. That's also very common, mostly in work boots, logger boots, like whites, nicks, danners. They all get that kind of stitch. Then you've got the Rancourt one here. Watching a video on moccasin. What was it? Yeah, you can see it. Okay, I don't think I've seen your video on moccasin construction boots, shoes. Moccasin. Moccasin. You're talking about like a Red Wing mock toe boot or something? Mock toe is usually this here, but there's a number of them out there. But so this one here is a Blake Rapid Stitch, meaning that since I've got this one apart, this here has a midsole put on, and then it's stitched clear through the inside of the boot here, just like that, all the way through. Once this is flat on there, then you get the sole put on, and then the sole is outsole stitched around on the outside edge. So this is a Blake Rapid Stitch. I like the Blake Rapid Stitch design personally. It's really nice because you can resole them countless times as well, kind of like a Goodyear Welt design. But a straight Goodyear Welt is always going to be the top pick personally, just because you can resole a pair of Goodyear welted boots or shoes countless times before having to replace the welt. Well, not countless. On average, you can resole maybe 2 to probably about 5 times before you have to get the welt replaced, as long as you catch it in time. Some people we have wear through the welts, into the welts. Sometimes other cobblers did work on it and they just destroy the welt, so we have to replace the welts and everything. So it happens. Let's see. Moccasin construction. Oh, just like you're talking about, like Minnetonka moccasin, things like that. Yeah, I haven't done a video on something along those lines. I've had a few pairs. I actually had some really, really rare moccasins come in here. They were an ankle-high moccasin boot, basically a booty. So, as much as some of you people might not want to hear this, but they were made of seal iron. They are very specifically made in Canada, just because they are done by the Native Americans in Canada. They are licensed. The Native Americans are responsible for tracking how much sea lions are used and all that kind of stuff. But they make moccasins out of sea lion skin. There's a long waiting period. We're talking half a decade to wait for it, and very expensive. The prices will fluctuate too. So if you get on a waiting list to get a pair of sea lion skin moccasins, you're waiting 5 years for it, and during that 5 year period, if the price goes up, you're stuck either paying for it or you'll never get on that waiting list ever again. That's it. It's crazy. The Native Americans do. It's getting hard to hear here. How does a blind stitch work since the thread isn't going through the outsole? It is going through the outsole. So I'll give you this to see. So this is a half blind stitch. Now this shoe is beaten up because it's on display. Even the mirror shine is all kinds of messed up. But normal outsole stitch, you can see the stitch right here on the outside, and it just goes clear through the welt right there. Now a blind stitch, which is on this side of the shoe, you carefully either have a machine or do it, like in our case for cobblers, we do it by hand. We slice the leather very thinly, very, very thinly, fold it over at a 90-degree angle, do our normal stitch like we do on, say, this side here, and then we take some adhesive and then lay it back flat, and that flap that we had cut open, spliced open, lays back over top of it. I have actually this one here. This is a Magnani here, where it shows it kind of right there. You can see that little bit of split where the stitches start transitioning underneath the leather, because we literally split the leather open, folded it, and then stitched it, and then laid the leather back down. This was an experimental pair. This was the shoe that I did for a shoey and everything. Obviously, cobblers have to do a shoey every now and then. So man, we got droppers. Oh man, I've been going for 94 minutes live stream. Okay. I gotta get Caleb set up, honestly, because we gotta get things going. Make sure this knife is closed off. Gaziano Girling right there in the front. My Allen Edmonds back up top here that I did the half blind stitch. I did that half blind stitch years ago, and I showed some cobblers in our cobbler group. And a number of the cobblers are like, why would you do that? Why not just do the whole shoe? Because I felt like doing a sample pair. That was my personal shoe that I found at a thrift store. So, yeah, I did a half blind stitch and I got help for it from cobblers. Really? Apparently, I'm known as the oddball cobbler. I get weird stuff in and dumb stuff in, and all sorts of weird things. And I do sharkskin and stingray staircases. I get area work boots that I had to convert into a custom built JR sole. I get $35 boots that need a $350 customized upgraded job done on them. I get limited edition Adidas, limited edition Nike soles that customer has very specific midsoles he wants on them, and a hiker sole on it. So I get some weird stuff in every now and then that other cobblers don't quite get. Wait, before I drink. Cheers again. All right. So Danner boots with a turn welt, some of you call it, or a stitch down construction. There's different terms for it, but they're technically the same. Turn welt, for us cobblers, we know it as, or stitch down again, is the upper turns outward and we just stitch it directly. Now, a lot of times we machine stitch these, but this gentleman wants them hand stitched, which definitely costs more because we're going through all the original holes. No matter how good a cobbler is on a machine for outsole stitching, they will not make all the original holes in 100% of the time. They don't. It's not possible. It's a we rely on the machine, making sure the machine's fine-tuned. We tune the machines ourselves. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. So when it comes to a turn welt or a stitch down construction like this, it's a little bit of an extra cost, but we can hand stitch them. This is a leather midsole, which I hate stitching leather midsoles. So we go in through the top here, and we aim for the original holes. There we go. Usually I have these sprayed down, but I'm just going to have Caleb's boot started. Caleb is the one that's going to be stitching these, and I'm just starting them out. I'm going to tell him, in order to make it easier, spray it down to make sure the leather is a little bit soft and more pliable, and you can actually puncture through it. And then, geez, look at this stuff that he did with thread. This is ridiculous. Oh, yay. The things Caleb does sometimes. Caleb, and he's over here talking his head off. For those of you that don't know, Caleb is one of our newer apprentices. He was my father's apprentice, actually. And when my father passed away, Caleb asked to apprentice under me then. And so now he's part of our team part-time, just part-time a little bit here and there. So, okay. Have to measure out the string and everything. It's hard to see in this light. It's like weirdly reflecting. There it is. So I'm aiming for all the original holes, obviously, with this needle. Or jerk needle, basically. Oh, that's definitely going to have to get sprayed down because it's kind of ridiculous. And we're hand stitching a midsole onto these. All right, so looks like a lot of people are kind of like popping off from here a little bit. Huh? Ah, okay. So midsole, same thing as the welt. We're doing the saddle stitch, but you go in from the top, aim for the same hole. You're going to want to get a spray bottle. It usually hangs off out the outsole stitcher.
Spray the midsole.
Yeah, spray the midsole. It's going to make it a lot easier. You can even spray on the uppers a little bit to get it down in there. But you can. It's just not to soak it in because you want that material to get softer because you're going to go like this, aim for that hole up top here, and then it's a lot easier when it's soft, and then just kind of
Should I hold it like that?
Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna hit your finger and it's not fun. But yeah, same exact story. You pull it the same way as a midsole through, and just go all the way around.
Should I do it while it's on the last, or should I do it freehand?
On the last, you're gonna have to like go underneath and try to look for that hole is the problem. So it's actually a lot easier if you do it while it's on the table or something.
Well, whites because they do hand sewn stitching.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah. Yeah, so you could do it on the last. Like in my opinion, I don't like doing it on the last. Yeah, I mean because it's you see the hole here and everything, and you're pushing away from yourself. When it's on the last, you're like trying to like push it through. And, yeah, it's just a little less safe, in other words. So hand that up to you. I'll probably have to wrap that up on here. People are like coming off here and there a little bit, so you know. All right, back to the Gazianos. Okay. So the thread part. So the thread. So when we're stitching on wets, for example, we actually need the loose end of the thread to wrap around the shoe or boot 2.5 times. We're stitching a midsole on that one, so we need about 2 3/4 wrap around. That's how much thread you actually need on just the loose end of the thread, because we've got it kind of going back and forth with each other. The loose end of the thread needs to be able to wrap around the shoe, or at least the stitchable area, at least 2.5 times. So it looks like it's going to fit Shaq's shoe, but that's how much thread we actually use and need. The outsole stitch, we've measured some boots and some shoes. It can range anywhere between, on the low end, about 4 feet of thread to all the way up to like 14 feet of thread that is needed to stitch around a Goodyear welted boot or shoe. So that kind of gives you some perspective. It might look like it's not a lot of thread, but that's a lot more than most people think. So yes, we do need that much thread. How does a? Oh, okay. Glad you heard that there, Jaron. Okay. All right. I don't even know what time. Oh man, we're way past lunchtime. I am hungry. Joe disappeared on me, and I don't know what Joe's doing. So, I'm doing Triumph toe plates on some Gaziano Girlings. I usually do this in the back, so I have a lot of like overhead lighting and everything, so I can really see what's going on with that. But right now I'm dealing with just this direct lighting from the thing that's holding the. It's not a tripod. It's like that's why it's so wobbly when I swipe up on my phone to see your guys' comments. It's like single arm stand type of thing with lighting, and that's literally like the only lighting I have. So right there. Hi. D-rings? Yeah. So those guys are at, let me see that hole real quick. The hole's the issue there. So this one's going to have to be 10. I'm going to have to put a little bit of like filler or something in there. So, yep. Oh, today? No, yeah, no, we should be able to. It's just rivet, but we just want to put a little adhesive around the perimeter on it, basically. So. Ah. Not even 3. Not even 3. All right. So, I am going to have to wrap it up. Yo. I got leftover pizza in the back. If you want to stick it on the microwave. It's meat lovers over there, so.
I'll take it. If that's all right.
Yeah, go for it. Because I didn't realize what time it was. All right. So I guess we're going to have to eat here in a few, so I'm going to have to start wrapping here a little bit. But I wanted to show you guys the Gaziano Girling. Huh? They're in one of those plastic drawers, but I think we can reuse that same D-ring. We just need to use the a new rivet. So, all right, everyone. So I'm going to have to kind of wrap it up here in just a second. I just want to make this final cut on these Gaziano Girlings for all of you. Oh, voila. Now, obviously, this is a little bit crude, and we're going to have to be able to show you a little bit. Well, we're going to have to do a little bit more, but we've got the start of that Triumph toe plate cut out a little bit at an angle. Then I got to slice out the rest of that toe piece there so that I can fit this 1.5 millimeter toe plate into the shoe. And for those of you that are curious about it, Triumph toe plates help for those. There's 1 out of 4 people that tend to wear out their toes more frequently. And if you have a habit of just wearing out your toes before you wear out the rest of the sole, it gets very costly having to fix that or re-sole it over and over again. So these Triumph toe plates are my personal pick. There's also ones called Lulu. They're silver, just straight cut ones with no holes in it for screws. But I prefer these ones here. They help the longevity of your sole instead of having to replace it over and over. You just put on some toe plates. They're flush to the sole, so that reduces the amount of click that you get in the sole. So I definitely recommend doing those Triumph toe plates if you have a bad habit of wearing out your toes on your shoes, especially Goodyear welted shoes. It's well worth it, to get that done. Check us out on cobblersplus.com if you're interested in any kind of products that you may need, creams, polishes, conditioners, and everything. If you need any services done, obviously we don't have everything listed on our website that we have the capability of doing, things like zippers, elastic replacements, and all that. We can do all of those things, orthopedic list, but it's so much variables that we have to consider. So I thought I'd just kind of mention that. If you need any of that kind of work done, you can always message us, but I recommend that you August trying to peek in over here. But I definitely recommend that you stop by if you're local here in the Denver area, or give us a call. Phone number is 303-400-6105. I'll leave, it's hard for me to leave all that in the description when it's a live stream, but definitely check out our YouTube descriptions, or again, cobblersplus.com. On Facebook, it's Cobblers Plus. Instagram, it's Cobblers Plus CEO. TikTok, it's Cobblers Plus. YouTube, obviously, is Cobblers Plus. Just check us out on any of the channels, and you can find all of our information everywhere. But I thank you guys for joining me for 107 minutes I've been going, basically. So that's quite a while, actually, of a live stream. There are people that have come and go and everything. We had some Rancourt boots again that we took apart. We're going to do a cash or trash episode on. We got some Gaziano Girlings getting Triumph toe plates. These were started in the very beginning where we're trying to seal them up. There's some cheap man-made boots. We got some Danners down there. We're starting the midsole. We had some peeling companies we're finishing out welts on. Showed off some new cases that are going to get the ostrich skin dyed to match the shaft and everything. So we'll get some interesting stuff in for sure. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Again, for those of you that haven't seen it and are just tuning in or something, I haven't been on too much lately just because a lot of stuff has been happening. My father passed away in September, and he has his own cobbler shop that I had to take over and have to figure that out. It's still in the process. We moved the shop last year as well. There's just been a lot. We got new business partners that joined our team and everything that are trying to revamp everything and stuff. So if you're in the Denver area, if you're visiting, definitely stop by. We got some bourbons and drinks and stuff. It's a shoe shine experience that you can sit down for. This is our shoe shine bar that I'm at right now, where you can sit down for half an hour to an hour to get a nice shoe shine, have a drink or two. You can do it as a couple or with friends. You can do it as an event or by yourself. So definitely stop by for that, or drop off mail-in stuff. Again, check us out at cobblersplus.com. Almost all of our information is on there, or give us a call as well. So thank you for joining me. I know it's been kind of like a weird live stream that I was trying to just spend time on Saturday with whoever wants to join us. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully very soon I'll have a lot more content lined up for all of you. We'll see you all next time.